Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's Dave and we're here for a brand new video and the last ever episode as such of the Wolves European Dream. I did say at the end of the last video that I was going to do one more video regardless of the result in that. If you've not gone and checked that out, please do go and do so. But at the end of the video, I resigned as manager of Wolves and we're going to skip forward a number of years to see what happens to the club. Was I overachieving? Was I underachieving with the club? And see who comes and who goes. So when I left the club, Mourinho, Jorge Jesus and Bruno Lage were all the favourites to become the new manager of the club, and all Portuguese based, or Portuguese actually, so it works quite well, and it fits the Wolves narrative quite well. So we're going to skip forward and drop by season and see how the club has got on. Before we do that though, please go and check out the channel partners over at OneFootball. Fantastic football app to go and check out if you don't use one already. Free to download. I'll leave a link in the top of the description down below, so it's free to download on Android and iOS, and you can check out all your latest scores, your latest football news, your latest team news, transfer rumors, all sorts on there. So please go and check that out. Fantastic football app to go and check out. So we're here at the end of the first season, and as you can see straight away, it's Bruno Lage, the Benfica manager, in charge of Wolves, and he's insecure. So let's go and check out Wolves, see how they've been getting on before we look at any of the players. They finished 9th in the Premier League, and Bruno Lage is the manager. Let's check if he replaced anyone else. No, obviously I left. And then Bruno Lage took charge, and he's got a 56 win percent rate. He won the Community Shield, obviously, because we won the FA Cup last time out. 34 games won in all comps, 18 games lost and 8 drawn. I don't think that's too bad, but of course it could be a little bit better. Great manager, of course, manager of Benfica in real life, and in-game he stayed there for quite a while, and then jumped ship to join Wolves. So he's under pressure, despite him finishing 9th in the Premier League. So let's see. By the way, I'm going to see, am I an icon? So I'm only on favoured personnel. I thought, if somebody won the Premier League with Wolves, they would definitely be an icon. But you know what? Never mind. We'll have a look at that. So we're going to competitions and senior squad, and Wolves finishing in 9th. 9 points behind Everton, who finished in 6th. So Arsenal missed out on European football this time around. And Manchester City boss was sacked as well. I don't think that was Pep, but they finished 3rd. And obviously didn't win the title. Manchester United getting 91 points. Vinicius Junior ended up as top goal scorer for Wolves with 11 goals. Bristol City get relegated as well. So in the Europa League this year, they were knocked out in the quarter-final by West Ham. 5th round of the FA Cup by Manchester United. Actually, oh my God. Runners-up in the League Cup and lost out to West Brom. Oh my word. So West Brom have got European football next season and won the Community Shield in the end. Oh my gosh. That is painful. Yeah, I mean, it's a game, but that even hurts me. Let's check out the transfers. This is always a fun bit for it. Of course, this was my last season. So, Wolves brought in 102 million worth of players, sold out 41.5 million. Let's look at the outs first. So Ruben Vinagre, Diogo Jota, Mason Mount, all left on permanent deals. Should have made sense because they were all sort of fringe players for me as well. I think they got a good fee for Vinagre. Possibly could have squeezed a bit more from Jota, who didn't really quite struggled really in the Premier League. And then Mason Mount, a number of loan players out. This one's a weird one. Alban Lafont signed from Olympiacos for 6.5 million. You think, yeah, good signing, but he got loaned out straight away. A number of decent players were loaned out, including Leandro Dendoncker, Javi Ontiveros as well. But now Alban Lafont, sat in under 23 is a bit of a strange one. Thomas Tavares came from Benfica as a player that Lage brought across. Gibril So from Young Boys, who's a central midfielder. Stepan Turchin, Radu Negria, and one of his marquee signings was Lucas Carvalho from Porto, who looks a fantastic player, attacking midfielder, number 10, 6 foot tall, looks great. Didn't really get many games this season, but looks a fantastic player despite him, he signed in January. In terms of tactics, Wolves are sticking with that 4-2-3-1, similar to how we played last season. And to be fair, he's put Otara in for Benkovic in the looking at changes from the last game. So Radu Negera is the goalkeeper. Is Patricio on the bench? Yeah, Patricio's on the bench. It's quite a similar-ish team to how we were playing, to be honest, anyway. And then we'll quickly look at their cup runs to see who they had and so on. So Europa League, they went straight into the group stage, immaculate form. And to be honest, they didn't drop any, points as such up until the games in April against West Ham United. So that would have been disappointing. They had Frankfurt and Krasnodar, who aren't bad teams in their group as well. FA Cup, they beat MK Dons and Brentford quite convincingly and lost out to Manchester United. EFL Cup, beat Stoke, Watford, Man City as well, and Oxford, and then lost out in the final to West Bromwich Albion. A Tammy Abraham goal as well, of all people. That's a shame. And then in the Community Shield, which they won, they beat Liverpool on penalties, which is always nice as well. So that is the first season done and dusted for me. It'll be interesting to see if Bruno Lage does keep his job, especially after being under pressure. But not bad, but not great. Let's just double check if there were any major news as such. Overview. We're going landmarks. Oh my God, Fosun sold up. So after we left, the club failed FFP. I'm not going to say anything. Won the Community Shield, and then Wolves sold up. So Guau left the club, and a new chairman, Christoph Peschek, has took over, which is interesting. So we look at the staff. There's no one that I know of note. Let's have a quick look at the sort of the job roles. There's no one that I know of note there. But that's just an Austrian consortium has taken over the club. So quite interesting that. Extremely interesting, actually. So let's quickly check the general. Finances are just okay. So they're not rich or anything like that anymore. So that'll be interesting to see how that affects the club in the long run. So then we're at the end of the next season. And we're going to see if Wolves have bounced back a little bit. And see who's in charge of the club these days. So finished 5th in the Premier League. And now they've got a new manager in Marcelo Gallardo. So obviously Bruno Lage did not last too long as manager. So let's have a quick look at that first. And yes, he was sacked at the end of last season, and it's been a decent start to the season for Marcelo Gallardo. Obviously no European football, so he's had a chance to bed himself in, but it looks like, 5th in the Premier League, he has got himself into Europe. And yeah, a pretty strong season, just 4 points behind Arsenal, finished in the Champions League, and in the end finished quite convincingly in the top 5. FA Cup as well, finished in the runners-up, and Carabao Cup not so good, but lost out to Manchester United, who at the moment are smashing it. Another league title for them, and it looks like, of course, they won the FA Cup too, so they're doing quite well at the moment. Who's in charge? I'm sure Solskjaer is still their manager. No, Simeone now is their manager. So, yeah, decent season for Wolves. As you can see, Timo Werner in there. A lot of familiar faces amongst there. So, let's look at the transfer history. Just 3 players coming in and a lot of money being coming into the club as well. So 3 players that were signed: Ivan Babic, who's a new gen from Croatia, from Zagreb, another central midfielder, looks solid across the board. Rafael Guerreiro, Portuguese left back from PSG, and Felipe Anderson, of course, the ex-West Ham man, as well as a winger, but brought in £210 million worth of players. So Vinicius Jr. went to PSG for a huge amount of money, £88 million. Obviously, he was a player that we brought in, so Wolves have made a bit of money on him. Was a great player for us during the series. Javi Ontiveros got 40 million for, which is crazy. So they've almost doubled, well, they have doubled their money on him as well. Leander Dendoncker went to Inter, which is some more great money, I think. We signed him. We sold him for 30 million, re-signed him for 25, and then they've resold him again for 36.5. Djibril Sow, who hasn't been there long, has left. Luke Shaw has left. Andre Gomez, Reguilon, Patricio's gone to Eibar, which is a shame, really. I wanted him to end his career at Wolves, but he's gone to Eibar. Has he? Oh, I was going to say, I didn't think he kept any clean sheets then, but yeah, he has. So yeah, and a few more loan outs. In regards to the tactics, Gallardo is playing a 4-2-3-1 as well, and we're going to look at the senior squad fixtures again. We'll just check out the EFL Cup, knocked out against Manchester United. They beat Sheffield Wednesday and Charlton. Europa League, of course, they weren't in. Champions League, they weren't in. Community Shield, they weren't in. And then the FA Cup, got all the way to the final and lost out 3-2. That is painful, and it was a goal from Paul Pogba, which was the difference, obviously, in the end. But yes, beating Chelsea, then some pretty favourable fixtures in there for Wolves, but finishing 5th into the Europa League. Marcelo Gallardo, in real life, I believe, is managing River Plate, or possibly even Argentina, actually. I think it will be River Plate, but yeah, great manager, and it'll be interesting to see how he can get on in charge of Wolves. Let's quickly check if there's any other landmarks in there. No, just the FA Cup runners-up, and of course the new owner's still there, and now their finances are rich. So we're going to skip forward another year and see how they continue to get on. So we're in 2027 now, and of course we're going to be checking how Wolves get on yet again. So finishing 6th in the Premier League this time, Gallardo still in charge. It looks like they might have gone on a little run here of something of some description. So we'll have a quick look at that. Of course, Gallardo's still in charge. No problems there. Another good season by the looks of it, and we'll check it out. So, a Europa League finalist, unfortunately losing out again to Chelsea. Hopefully one day we'll see them lift a European trophy. Knocked out in the 4th round of the Carabao Cup by Man United. Semi-final of the FA Cup by City. You lost obviously in the final. And Wolves finishing 6th in the end. It looks like they might have... I don't know why it's only 5th highlighted, but Wolves and Spurs get it in the end as a top 6. So, Man City winning the league, 96 points. Manchester United not far behind. It looks like the Manchester clubs finally regaining a little bit of power in the Premier League. The gap between the top 7 and everyone else was outstanding, really. In terms of transfers, 73 million spent. Andrew Elliott was a player that came in from Hearts, a Scottish left-back. Wow, Bruno Jordão, of course, a player that Wolves have signed in real life this summer, has joined the club for £35 million from Benfica. So he looks a good player, 28 years of age. Xavier from Espanyol, who's a centre-back. Thomas Gomez from River Plate. And finally, Marco Garibaldi from Juventus, who's a goalkeeper. Players out, let's look who they've sold. Mateus Vargas went for a huge amount to Real Madrid. So that's a big loss for the club. But Alban Lafont, they made some money on despite him not playing much for the club. He did have a spelling goal last season. Rafael Guerrero's left. Ben Godfrey. Chinedu Salami is left to go to Ajax. He was a player that we'd signed for just 425k, so some decent money made there by the club. Paco Alcacer ended up going back to Germany. He's joined Stuttgart. And then a couple of players leaving on frees. And Luis Oliveira out on loan as well. Obviously, the young striker that we'd signed and scored the winner for us in the FA Cup. So, tactics again. 4-2-3-1 again, it seems. And let's have a quick look at the... Manchester United seem to be Wolves' bane at the moment, knocking them out of every cup competition, really. Europa League, again, immaculate form up until, unfortunately, the semi-final this time. The final this time, sorry. A pretty decent group with Espanyol, Qarabag and Standard Liège. Beat Cluj in the first knockout round, Shakhtar, then Leipzig, who we knocked out, in our series as well. Then beat Inter with Malcolm with 4 goals across the 2 legs. And then unfortunately losing out 2-1 to Chelsea after a poor start. Pretty disappointing that. FA Cup as well. Knocked out against Manchester City in the semi-final. After extra time, that is a bummer as well. But smashed Wigan 6-0. Smashed West Brom 3-0. Who's this? Luis Carvalho who's piping up with a couple of goals. Really nice looking player. He's the one that they signed for Porto. Beat West Ham, beat Arsenal as well. So a good little run there. Things are looking good though. Obviously, youth facilities upgraded. Europa League now. Wolves are doing well. Gallardo seems like he's got a little bit of stability with the club. So let's skip forward another year. Let's see if they can finally break maybe into the top 4 and see if they can get any more silverware. So then, end of the 27-28 season, and we're going to check out Wolves again. And they finished 3rd in the Premier League, so they have broken into the top 4. Gallardo's still in charge. He's done the business once again for the club. And let's have a quick look now at competition-wise. So finishing 3rd, runner-up in the Europa League again. They've got Champions League next season, so hopefully they've been off the Europa League completely. 5th round of the FA Cup by Manchester City, and the 3rd round of the Carabao Cup by Ipswich. I know they won't be happy with that. But Timo Werner finishing top goal scorer, Man City and Man United as the top 2 again, and Wolves toppling Chelsea and Liverpool to the the 3rd position, sorry. Recent form as well, you can see they dropped 3 points there. They could have genuinely knocked on the door for 2nd, but it looks like it was a late run because for the majority of the season, look, they were really struggling. It must have been a really strong turn in form to allow them look at that really strong season after New Year. So we'll quickly look at the FA Cup. In terms of that, it wasn't great. Knocked out by Manchester City. We'll need to look at the transfers as well, actually. EFL Cup, knocked out on penalties by Ipswich, which I won't be happy about. Europa League, again, let me sort it by date. Sorry, they'll be fairly happy with it, but yeah, getting to the final again, and this time losing on penalties, which is heartbreaking for Wolves, which of course they won't be too happy about. Transfer-wise, though, this season, spending £143 million, 72 million of that was on Cedric Brunel from Burnley. Scored 10 goals, to be fair to him, in the league. 3 goals in the Europa League. Looks a good player, but I don't know. I've seen better players for that sort of value of money. David Brooks came in from Spurs, the Welshman. Jacob Bell, Ross Langstaff, who's a young striker from Norwich. And Laporte as well on loan, interestingly. On loan, 34 years of age now, still got decent value. They brought a lot of money in as well. So Lucio Piccoli, who's a player I'd waited ages to get a work permit for, signed for 4.1 million. Obviously had a good run in the team last year. And 68 million he was sold for. Thomas Tavares has left for 30 million. Benkovic went for 8.5. Felipe Anderson went as well. And a couple of players out on loan. So even Bruno Jordao, spent 30 odd million on him, and he's gone out on loan. Still 4-2-3-1 is being played. Top 4 now. Can Wolves retain that? Champions League next season. I say we go up to 2030 to see how the club get on. So yeah, let's jump into the next season. So then here we are then, the penultimate season that we're going to be checking out Wolves for, and finishing 4th in the Premier League. Marcelo Gallardo is doing the team for Wolves at the moment. And let's quickly double check everything. Landmarks. Oh, I might have ruined something there. I don't know. Gallardo. Bruno Lage, obviously still in charge now. Gallardo chasing up on my 5 years in charge of the club. But his record is sublime. It's a really, really good record. Only 5 transfers in, but spending a lot of money this season. Big one being Felipe from Atletico Madrid. Mate, how many central midfielders do Wolves need? The turnover is outstanding. Fernando came in from Manchester United on loan. Alisson, the goalkeeper, coming in from Liverpool, despite, he's been towards the end of his career. But he's been at Liverpool a long time, 10 years. Great record, and he's joined Wolves towards the end of his career. And Matthew Gibbons from Southampton, 25-year-old right back. For a big chunk of money as well. So 158 million coming in. So first one, Marco Garibaldi went to Manchester United. A tidy profit on him. Gervais Otaro was a player that, of course, we signed in the series and played a little bit of football. Signed for 425k. Sold for £41 million. Some great turnover. Bruno Jordao, they've lost a little bit of money on. It's a shame it's not worked out for him. And Ivan Babic as well. Man, spent 36 million on him. Just 23 league games later, goes for 5.25 million. They won't be happy with that at all. And a number of players again out on loan deals. Quickly, let's check out how they've been getting on. Champions League knocks out the first knockout round by Bayern. It was always going to be a difficult one. Finishing 4th in the league, 2 points clear of Chelsea in 5th. West Brom as well, starting to knock on the door for some decent play. Bruno Lage now in charge of West Brom. Of course. Paulo Sousa as well. They've gone down that little, Portuguese route. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was there for a bit, which is quite interesting. FA Cup, Sheffield United knocked us out. And in the Carabao Cup, Manchester United again knocked them out. 4-2-3-1 still being played. And let's quickly check out some of the games. So FA Cup knocked out by Sheffield United in the 6th round. EFL Cup knocked out by Manchester United in the 4th round. And Europa League, no, they weren't in Champions League, beat Porto, Sevilla and Schalke out of their group, and then unfortunately getting knocked out on away goals by Bayern, which is always a bummer. So, one more year, let's see if they can do it. Can Wolves finally win a little bit of silverware? But these consecutive top 4 finishes, are very, very decent. So then the final year, we're going to be looking at, look at this, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at Manchester United. Is he taking his job back? Mate, look at look at how he's worked himself back up. That is ridiculous. So obviously, in this game, he wasn't their manager. Oh, that explains it. But that's pretty crazy how Football Manager has predicted that he's going to take charge. Because he's interim manager at the moment. And when I started the save, he wasn't interim manager. So that's pretty good. And how on earth has he worked himself up from under 18s manager upwards is crazy. But we're here to talk about Wolves. So 3rd in the Premier League again. Gallardo has done the thing. He's doing really well as in charge of Wolves, and he's done really well there again. We'll quickly check out transfer history this year. 144 million spent, 76 million spent on Eduardo Negrete, who is an attacking midfielder right, and he's going to be a great player, driven personality, determined. Mate, he'll become a world beater, and he's done quite well. William Goebbels coming in on loan from Man City. Alphonso Davies coming in from Leipzig as well, who's a player we tried to sign earlier in the series, believe it or not. But players that have left the club, £34 million for Gabarini. Malcolm left to go to Cardiff. And that's about it. Carlos Alenya out on loan as well. So competition-wise, Champions League knocked out in the semi-final by Manchester United. That is a heartbreak. FA Cup knocks out in the 6th round, and then a runner-up of the Carabao Cup, and finishing 3rd quite comfortably again in the Premier League. Luis Oliveira, the man, getting that top goal scorer award for Wolves, a really decent return, worth £60 million now. Wolves still rocking that 4-2-3-1. And let's have a quick look to finally finish this off. Champions League, Wolves knocked out in the semi-final despite knocking out Arsenal, despite knocking out Napoli, despite playing Barcelona twice as well. They got out of their group. That's a real shame that they lost out there. Luis Carvalho grabbing a number of goals there. EFL Cup knocked out in the final, penalty shootout again. And then in the FA Cup final, not in the final, 6th round, sorry, knocked out after extra time. So landmarks, as you can see, Carabao Cup runners-up, Neves removed as captain. He is still at the club, but his game time is really getting short. Cedric Brunel is now captain of Belgium. And Wolves have been fantastic. They've really solidified themselves as one of the big boys in England. So we laid down the foundations for it. They spent some big money that at times maybe we were scared to do. But Wolverhampton Wanderers, definitely one of the big boys now in the Premier League. But guys, if you enjoyed it today and of course enjoyed the series, be sure to hit the like button down below. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, guys. And until next time, well, the next time it will be Football Manager 2020. Until then, I'll see you all very, very soon.